What's up, everybody? We got the fifth episode of the Terminal List Dark Wolf this week. Let's get right into it. Before I truly dive into the episode itself, I've got to give some extra praise to the first four episodes of this show because they did a great job setting up this bridge episode of sorts. I'm immediately thinking about how the Frogmen will reunite for their revenge, and the strength in the first four episodes, being the camaraderie, makes it so easy to root for that reunion. But imagine being this Khalid network guy. Well, I guess he's actually German intelligence. We found that out a bit later in this episode, but imagine being this guy that Rafe's got chained up here. You're woken up by smelling salts, which, by the way, I heard Roger Goodell hates this show, and then the first thing you see is a hairless Chewbacca with a table of torture toys. That's nightmare material if I've ever seen it. However, jokes aside, this episode did have a glaring flaw, one I don't remember from the first four episodes: the transition details. Stuff like Rafe driving to the middle of bumblefuck nowhere with not one, not two, but three dead bodies in the car, or Ben finding Elisa after not knowing which way to go in the tunnels, and even Tal's backpack going from the ground to her back just by opening the door. The editing in this episode wasn't great, but thankfully, the action, for the most part, remained incredible. This entire sequence in the hotel is top notch from this universe, and you've got the Ben Elisa drama on top of that too, which that storyline, it could be a bit better, but I think it's being elevated right now by a commanding performance from Taylor Kish, and Ronald Shimon's been solid too in that relationship. Then, and we're kind of going to shift into breakdown territory, a bit of a prediction for next week's episode here, but we got to talk about Germany. Elisa said that she had to get the package to Berlin, and she constantly reminds Ben that the attackers were speaking Farsi. The intelligence guy that Rafe is interrogating, he starts speaking German too, and then he reveals he's German intelligence, and the cherry on top, Tal, she's in Munich. Now, they're saying it's Haverford that we shouldn't trust, but I'm going to stick with my gut here this week after not knowing who to trust last week. I do not trust Elisa and Tal. In fact, the one man I trust at this point in the show is Rafe. Maybe it's the dope accent that Tom Hopper's holding for the show, which I should say, I don't know if that's his true accent or not. I'm not really familiar with his work outside of this show, but it's incredible. It's given like a bit of Carl Urban mixed with some Russell Crowe, and it just makes him 100 times the badass that he already is. Anyway, the episode closed action heavy, same as episode 4, and we got one of the show's weaker fights between Tal and this German guy. But even though it was far from the show's best, it's still cool how it kind of tackles the idea that these smaller operatives, guys and chicks alike, have to train for unfair fights and to identify any possible weapon in their vicinity to use in said fight. It reminded me of Anna de Armas in Ballerina, just not quite as good as that movie, but still, you get the point. Then you've got Elisa and Ben under attack too, with some brutal CGI when their car explodes. It felt like it was from a completely different show, to be honest, but the scene itself, effects aside, was a great cap to the episode. Who texted Elisa? Is she even dead? I don't know if I can trust her on being dead. I mean, what is real in this show anymore? My trust issues, they have my brain in an absolute blender after the last two episodes. This was another good episode for the show though, despite its flaws. As I said at the beginning of the video, this episode with the team all separated, it had to be earned, and the incredible camaraderie in the first four episodes paid off big time. I'm sweating bullets for Rafe. I'm still tempted to trust Haverford. I don't even know what to do there because I don't know who to trust anymore overall with the show, even Ben, considering how his story comes to an end. And so that's going to do it for my review of episode 5 of Dark Wolf. I want to know what you guys thought about this week's episode though, so let me know down in the comments below and make sure you have a great day.